Global uncertainty is at a level we haven't seen in years. Energy markets volatile, consumer confidence shaky, and Canadians sitting on the sidelines waiting for clarity before making major financial decisions. And that hesitation is showing up directly in the March numbers that we're going to be going over today. Vancouver just recorded its second lowest March sales since 2005, and we are 41% below the 10-year average for this time of year. This was supposed to be the spring market. Today I'm breaking down what is actually driving this slowdown, what it means by property type, and more importantly, what it means for where you stand right now. What we're going to do now is pull up the Rennie intelligence package here to just go over exactly what is going on by price point, by segment, and then at the end comparing Greater Vancouver to the Fraser Valley, which is a helpful benchmark. Let's jump into the Rennie Advanced, and we're going to start with sales first. So let's run over the highlights here. So in March, there were 2,967 MLS sales in the Vancouver region, which represented a 22-month-over-month rise, which was less than the typical 29% February to March increase. This was the second fewest March sales, as mentioned off the top, available that dated back to 2005. Only March 2019 registered fewer sales at 2,829. Total sales were down 3%, and condo sales fell 10% year over year, and townhome sales also declined 6%, while in the detached segment were up 7% to 920. Total sales were 41% below the 10-year March average, and detached home sales were the furthest below average, 51%, followed by condos at 40% and townhomes at 35% decline when you're looking at the 10-year averages. So in the graphs here, and this is again why I like these advanced stats here, this red line is the 10-year averages. And that really helps us put into context what is going on here. And we knew that 2025 and going into 2026 was going to be slow, but it is starting to show us in the market itself how slow things are going. So as you can see here with the detached sales here, sitting at this 920 mark, and since 2022, we've been well below that 10-year average. So it's going to be interesting as these years start to progress if these 10-year average numbers are going to start to change, that red dotted line. As you can see that we have been underwater here for the last couple of years, and that is going to essentially help with those numbers. You can see in this first point in 2016, when we roll over to next year, we're not going to have that high mark that you can see that's almost at 4,000 sales. So these 10-year average lines are starting to move down. As we go to the townhouse segment here, as well as the condo segment, well below that 10-year average and trending very similar to all segments here across the Greater Vancouver region. When you see something like this in terms of sales, minus 51%, minus 35%, minus 40%, that is not good news for a seller, and that is something as a buyer that you want to key in on. When you start to see those sale numbers drop, there's less people operating, that gives you a lot more buyer leverage, and unfortunately for so many sellers out there, there's just less buyers out there. And we have highlighted this on the channel before. We've had huge amounts of job loss. We know that last month we had, for the first time since Confederation, decline in immigration, 19% drop in permanent residences. So all these people who could possibly be purchasing homes, there are less and less and less of them. Plus with the job losses, with over 20,000 job losses in BC alone on the last report, there's less people who are wanting to do that. And the full-time job market, members in that category were affected to the tune of over 100,000 employees. So there's less people that have money. There's a lot more uncertainty, and this is showing up in these sales numbers. Not to mention with what's going on in Iran right now, the rising energy costs, the rising of oil, that's going to put us in more inflationary measures, because oil, with it being around that $100 a barrel, it's in the basket for the CPI index. And if that inflation continues to go up, that is not a good thing for the economy and specifically for the real estate market as a whole. When we go over to new listings here, we're going to go over the highlights here first. There were 8,754 new MLS listings in the Vancouver region, down 13% relative to last March, and new listings have been below last year's count in every month this year. On a year-to-date basis, new listings were down 11% from 2025. That is an interesting stat, and when I look and read something like that, to me, it's sellers starting to get the picture. It's a lot of sellers possibly thinking of wanting to get in the market. This is a market where you need to understand what you're getting yourself into. It's not a market to test pricing. It's a market to actually move. If you have some major life event, if you want to take advantage of an upsize, if you're relocating, if there's been a death in the family, a divorce, whatever the case may be, There's always going to be life events that force someone to move, but this is not a market to test. And I think when we see a decline in new listings, I think there's going to be a lot of people who thought perhaps this was a good time to sell, and they are just going to be holding off until they have more stabilization feelings within the marketplace as a whole. So all home types recorded fewer new listings than last March. New condo listings were down the most, 19%, followed by detached, minus 13%, and townhomes down 7%. Despite the year-over-year decline, total new listings remained 0.9% above the 10-year average, and new townhome listings were the furthest above the average at plus 11%, followed by condos at 6%, and detached were below 17%. So as we look at the line items segment by segment with detached, we are starting to get around that 10-year average. It's starting to bounce up a little bit in all three of these categories. And in fact, as we just mentioned, the townhouse and condos new inventory levels are just above that 10-year average, which is a little bit surprising, especially, we are in March. This is supposed to be the spring market. This is when people are starting to get a little bit more excited to get their properties onto market. But I know for myself, I thought I was going to have about 6 to 7, maybe 8 listings in the spring market. All of them have essentially been pushed back either indefinitely or just pushed back for a couple months until people understand what's going on and wanting to have that clarity. In this market, it is so important to understand the market dynamics, because if you are planning to wait and you don't have a proper strategy, if you're not understanding the market dynamics and the market continues to drop lower and lower, and this is a case where you may need to sell in the next 6 months, holding on for whatever it may be is going to cost you a lot more money. So I just suggest, whether you are talking to an agent already or if you haven't been talking to one, get in touch with somebody. I'd love it for it to be me, but understand the market dynamics, understand what's going on in the economy, understanding all these other factors that really reflect what's going to be happening and giving you some sort of hypothesis of how the market is going to react next. So as we go from new listings over to inventory, this one's going to be interesting here. There are 21,666 active MLS listings in the Vancouver region at the end of March, 1.3% fewer than the same time last year, but 52% above the past 10-year March average. This was the first year-over-year inventory decline since September 2023, or 31 months. And again, I think that's speaking to that last point. I think there is a lot of seller fatigue out there, sellers understanding the market, and possibly people starting to pull back their plans on wanting to sell. Active townhome listings were higher relative to last March, but detached homes and condos both registered declines. There were 7.3 months of inventory in March, down from 8.2 in February, but well above the past 10-year monthly average of 3.4. Detached home conditions were considered favorable for buyers, months of inventory at 9.2, while the condo and townhome segments were both considered balanced. So again, this has been the story over the last year. Detached, if you can make it into that market, continues to be the best option in terms of sales ratio or months of inventory, essentially denoting buyer market conditions. The attached market, obviously the price point is a lot lower. There's a lot more competition in the space, but for the detached market, for those looking for that upside, it continues to stay very, very soft. And keep in mind, if you are wanting to get into detached, you just look around these neighborhoods in Vancouver and Burnaby, they are tearing down detached homes like crazy and putting up multiplexes. Those duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, maybe sixplexes. So at some point in Vancouver, and there was a news article about this a little while ago, at some point there's not going to be really any detached homes left. So this year, and I think into 2027, there's still going to present some really good opportunities for those people who specifically want a detached lot with some yard space. So as we look at things here, this is the inventory, and then we're going to get into pricing, which you guys all care about the most. Up 27% inventory versus the 10-year March average. Townhome inventory up 78%. And you can see there's been a huge swing. This is one of the highest we've seen in the last 10 years in the townhome space. Perhaps it's those individuals who are looking for that upsize, wanting to get into that detached space. That makes sense to me. And then the condo inventory is pretty much the same as last year, but still 65% above the 10-year average. But again, these are great markers for a buyer. You want to be in a condition where there are very low sales and high inventory. That means you have a lot more choice, a lot more negotiating power, and you can stay patient. For sellers, these are not great markers here whatsoever. But on the sell side, if you do have good product, I see it all the time, it will move. The ones that have issues are ones that have floor plan problems, lot size problems, and different factors where buyers can just look somewhere else for something that's a little bit more turnkey. For any seller out there, when you're seeing things like this, you really have to work with your home and your agent take the advice, do some painting, update some of those things, possibly get it staged to present it in the best case possible, because you have to be attractive with your pricing and you have to be attractive with how your home sells, because there is so much inventory, and this is all displayed here with these inventory numbers. As we get into the median pricing and compare how the Greater Vancouver area has performed compared to Fraser Valley since last month. We'll go through the highlights here first. On a year-over-year basis, median sold prices were down 6% in Greater Vancouver and 9% in the Fraser Valley. Greater Vancouver detached home prices were down 8% to 1.73 million, townhomes down 5% to 1.02 million, and condos were down 6% to 670,000. In comparison to the Fraser Valley, detached home prices were down 13%. That's quite substantial, down to 1.29. Townhomes were down 7%, and condos were down 7% as well. When we look at things on a month-over-month basis, median sold prices were 0.9% up actually in the Greater Vancouver. So we've had a little bit of a swing, a little uptick in pricing. I think that's the first time in quite some time. And 1.2% in the Fraser Valley. Greater Vancouver detached home prices were down 1.4%. Townhomes were up 3%, and condos were up 1.5% as well. As we scroll down here to the detached median pricing, you can see that the Fraser Valley has been hammered, no doubt about it. 13% down in median price point is quite substantial. You can see that since 2025, just to the left of this secondary red dot here, it's been on a pretty steep trajectory downward. Vancouver, not as steep, but still 8%. No one really calculated that in, where you were planning to have double-digit losses on your real estate portfolio in these years. But it's, again, shows you some opportunity. How far is this going to continue to drop? My hypothesis from the beginning of the year, even at the end of last year, I still think we're going to have these micro declines on a month-to-month basis until a lot of this global certainty starts to figure itself out. When we go to townhomes, a little bit less in terms of losses. Greater Vancouver drop of 5%, Fraser Valley 7%. So you're at $1,020,000 versus $790,000. But you can see in Greater Vancouver, though, we've been pretty flatlined here since 2023. There was a little bit of a run up in 24 and 25, but it has come back down to those levels that we were seeing about 3 years ago. The Fraser Valley, similar in terms of that trend there as well. And then when we go to the condo median price, down 6% in Greater Vancouver, 7% in the Fraser Valley, and very much the same, essentially flat since 2023, but you do have a little bit of a drop here from last year. And again, when you are considering, do we stay in the city, go to Fraser Valley, one caveat is when you are looking at major markets, Vancouver being the major market here, usually you can safeguard your investment a little bit more when you can buy a little bit closer to the city, and these numbers show it, especially detached. You saved yourself about a 5% drop, and all these markers here, Greater Vancouver is faring a little bit better. Condos are almost about the same here. So where do you go from here as a buyer or a seller? Again, if you're a buyer and you can be patient and you have your cash on hand, you're in a very, very strong position. Make sure when you are looking at homes, don't be purchasing with emotion, even if you love a certain area or style of home. You should not be purchasing anything with a red flag, because you never know, and this is a really good lesson right now, you never know when you need to sell. Sure, you can plan to be in a home for 5, 10, 15 years, but life can throw us events that throw us into a completely different category, and you can't control the market that you want to sell in. So as this being a reminder, when you're looking for units, make sure that, if you're looking at condos and say they're in the 2-bedroom variety, make sure they're a decent size, at least 900 square feet. Make sure that there's 2 bathrooms, not just one. Make sure that the layouts are good. It's open concept. If you're buying detached, make sure that you have a proper frontage, a typical lot size, that you're not on a busy road, it's not an irregular lot. Those are the things that you need to key in on. If you're a seller, unfortunately, you have to work a little bit harder. The marketing needs to be there for your property. You need to make sure things are nice and attractive. If you have to get the pressure washer out to do some of your vinyl siding, or pressure wash the driveway or the walkways, doing some work on the interior, you do have to work harder in this market. And at the end of the day, buyers set the market pricing. It's not the realtor, it's not the seller themselves. So you have to go in eyes wide open if you're a seller, because it is a difficult market. But if you have a proper strategy, you can be successful still. Thanks so much for your time. I'll see you on the next one.